So for step 3, the gearbox, well, essentially we're going to grab the other half of the gearbox and now screw it all together. And I mean, they're showing you here, remove C11, but I mean, I think that's probably pretty obvious because now we have to run the screws from the underside and up into this top part, and that is the other half of the gearbox right there. So this is going to be a relatively simple step, and you can see that there are 2 larger tapping screws and 3 smaller ones, and I'll probably start with the bigger ones just so that we don't get anything confused. So I'll set this up and let's put this together. So right away we're going to take off our stand. We're not going to need that anymore. And we're going to grab the other half here, and you can see that this is now going to sit on top. So this will sit over top. Make sure that that differential is fitting okay and fitting inside. You can see that's going to go over top. There we go. Just like that. And of course that's now still moving. That's okay. So knowing that this is the positioning, I'm going to grab the 2 bigger screws because we know that they are going to sit on either side of here. So I'm going to put one in, and I'm not going to put them all in at the, like, basically, what am I trying to say? I'm not going to go all the way in. I just want to make sure that they're grabbing, because I want to make sure that all of the screws go in okay without any binding. So now that the 2 larger screws are in, we know that what's left is the smaller screws. So for the smaller screws, they're coming up from the bottom. So you can see that there's one at the end here. Just like that. We've got one at the top here. Just like that. And we've got one, which if I just look at the way that's going to be, it's right there, kind of in the middle. So we know that that is the correct placement of that as well. So I can now screw that in. Okay, so the screws themselves are all the way, or into the holes properly. Now it's just going to be a matter of tightening them all up. And I'm going to go back and forth just to make sure that they're not binding on the way in and pulling tight, because we want to make sure that all of the screws go in properly and seat themselves properly. Whoops. So let's make sure. Okay, that one I can tell is already tightening up. This one already, this one almost, there we go. And then we've got these 2 left to tighten up, which they're pretty much in as well. Actually, that one might need a little bit more, but this now feels right. So ultimately, this is what it should look like when it's finished. And it's interesting, the design, because normally in a car, when you've put this together, the joints are sticking on the outside of the chassis or outside of the gearbox. These are still way down inside. So it's really a closed system. But anyways, that's what it looks like. So there is our gearbox for the Dancing Rider. So we're going to move on to now the rear suspension for step 4.